This is an Action News Brief with Jim Gardner.
Good evening. A man who looks like this, posing as a police officer, is wanted in a case of kidnapping and rape. The story on Crime Fighters tonight. Philadelphia police say the murder of two people, one of them a pregnant teenager, has all the makings of a drug assassination. There is a new revelation tonight about the gunman who opened fire in an Atlanta shopping mall today. Thousands jammed the Philadelphia Civic Center tonight for a speech by Nation of Islam Minister Louis Farrakhan. And more at 11 tonight.
Right now, Nissan Sentras and hard-body trucks come with green trim because cash back is back directly to you from Nissan. $1,000 cash back on the fun and reliable Sentra Standard. $1,200 on the rugged standard hard-body 4x2 truck. But hurry, because cash back won't be back for long.
Hi, this is Don Cannon. Wake up with me each morning 5:30 to 10 for your chance to win thousands of dollars in cash from my new home, Oldies 98, WOGL.
Tom Skerritt and Patti LuPone star after Nightline.
Good evening, I'm Ted Koppel. We have just received word that buckwheat has been shot.
The minute Saturday Night Live started doing parodies of Nightline, the minute I started seeing cartoons of me and Nightline, the minute that Johnny Carson and David Letterman began making fun of Nightline.
You know, it's a known fact that kids love TV stars, and, well, who's their favorite? I think this Halloween you'll find it's this guy right here, Nightline's Ted Koppel.
It was the best thing that could happen. That meant that we were enough of an established broadcast now that A, there was something to make fun of, and B, people got the joke. I mean, you can't make fun of something or someone that no one ever heard of.
I got rather broke on Jennings, the same thing. I went crazy this year. Got the 4-speed model with the wall mount. This one's for Koppel.
I am not the issue here.
Yes, you are, Ted. You replaced the IRS.
Yes.
If the government wants to get someone, they don't investigate their taxes.
No, they don't.
They book them on Koppel.
They book them.
In less than 10 words, Mrs. Ambassador, describe what to this administration would be considered a country friendly to the United States.
In less than 10 words.
That's 5 words so far. Continue.
Well,
6 words. 4 left. Go on.
a country that is...
Thank you.
In over 30 years, I have never broken up on the air. 95% of the time, after all, Nightline is live, and if I crack up, that's it. But there was one time when we pre-taped an interview with a Soviet cosmonaut. I still laugh every time I see that guy's eyebrows go up. Mr. Grechko, thank you very much for joining us. What to you is the most exciting thing about what has happened in space in the last 25 years?
Today is 25 years. I took part in the launch of the first artificial satellite, Sputnik.
And as the interview started and progressed, it became clearer and clearer that he didn't understand what Ted was saying. Ted did not understand what he was saying.
I was very young, maybe because it.
And after a while, Ted just began to chuckle, and then laugh, and then guffaw.
We are...
And finally just could not control himself anymore, fell over the desk, and the interview just totally fell apart.
I don't know what I would have done if the program had been live, bitten my tongue, chewed my cheeks, but again, it's sort of a bizarre example of what happens when you're not live, because it always leaves you an out. The worst thing we're going to do. Unfortunately for me, no one did.
The Oregon Guru. He's been frustrating officials in that state for years. I must tell you, 90 Rolls-Royces seem a little bit of excessive, even for a very close friendship.
Excessive to me.
Why not?
Even 900 will not be excessive.
The Bhagwan was a piece of work to begin with. But he was relatively compared to this woman who was working in his behalf and who came to be known around our shop as Bull Beep Sheila. Sheila liked to use that particular phrase whenever she disagreed with something. And she was quite disagreeable.
I believe that the man himself is here illegally.
Bullshit.
He is not an American citizen.
If we had any reliability that what these folks are saying we could believe, that would be one thing.
You are full of shit. You don't know anything about what reliability is.
I say that Mr. Forbush would have a final word, and he will, and if you're not quiet, we'll just cut the mic off. In that case, we'll cut the microphone off right now. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. He is only 3 years old, but he has herpes.
We did a show once on herpes, and it was a Friday. I'm going to make a long story short. We spent 30 minutes on this herpes story. We progressed nowhere. We didn't understand what we were talking about. The subject was all muddied up.
The more serious herpes, the herpes simplex 2.
I'm sorry, herpes simplex 2 is not the most serious, sir.
So again, my question, why do we use the same word?
Well, because they're not, we don't.
I apologize if we have done an inadequate or certainly an incomplete job. I thank all of you for joining us this evening.
It didn't take Rick Kaplan, the executive producer, and me more than 10 minutes after the program to come to the conclusion that we had to do something we had never done before or since, and that is do the same program all over again.
So Monday, 2 days later, we come back and we say to the audience,
those of you who didn't see the broadcast, don't worry, you're probably better off. Those of you who did, give us another chance. We're about to try again.
I don't know if we're going to be able to tell this story, really, or show it to you. It's the one I cite whenever I'm asked, what was your most embarrassing Nightline? We were doing a program on censorship. We booked the head of the Librarians Union, I think, in Chicago, and this man in Texas, whose mission in life is to find objectionable things in school textbooks and get them taken out. And he held up this one book and said,
this is a book that we find in many public schools for the teaching of sex education and so forth. For instance, it encourages the women to masturbate using a peeled cucumber, etc.
And at that point, I figure, hey, no problem. So long, Texas. We'll go to the other gig in Chicago.
And apparently we have just lost Chicago, and folks, I'm afraid you'll just have to believe us that there are times when it seems very strange that we have a technical problem, but believe me, in this particular instance, we have had one.
I'll tell you what, David, may I just insert one thing before I leave?
Sure. As long as it's not a cucumber, but you know. Thank you.
Every July 4th, Willie Nelson likes to throw a big concert barbecue at which I understand a certain quantity of spirits is also consumed. July 4th was also the occasion on which Rick Kaplan liked to see how far we could push our luck. That's how Nightline came to cover the Independence Day bash with Willie and Chris Christopherson.
Number of mistakes we made. One, concerts are loud.
There's so much noise going on back there, you guys can't hear me at all, can you? Chris, if you can hear me in any way, why don't you tell Willie to get back on stage, because I know he's going to sing a song in just a moment. I hope he's going to.
Great out there. Great job out there.
Yeah.
Your hair looks weird, Miles. Did you sleep with a hat on or something? What's wrong with my hair? It's flat. I hate this hair. This is the last time I go to Ted Koppel's barber.
There is one question which is quite literally head and shoulders above all the others. And a surprising number of you have asked it over the years. It boils down to, is it? And the answer is, yes, it is mine.
I should be dead. Last year, as I was driving home, I approached a hill. I saw something more frightening than anything I have ever seen. I tried to get out of its way. It was too late. I had a head-on crash with a 28,000-pound truck. I'm still alive today because of an airbag in my car.
Allstate supports airbags because they save lives and lower insurance costs.
Today, millions of Miracle-Gro gardeners are getting wonderful results with this amazing invention.
The Miracle-Gro no-clog garden feeder. It's the fastest, easiest feeder I've ever used. Well, now you can use it to feed your lawn. Because now there's Miracle-Gro lawn food. It makes lawn care so easy. Just drop in and spray on. You'll feed your whole lawn in minutes. You'll see lush green results in days. Stern's Miracle-Gro lawn food for a Miracle-Gro lawn you'll be proud of.
My headaches are full-grown, adult-sized bangaroos. So I bang them back with Bear. It's strong. It's not an aspirin substitute. It's made for adults. Just like you and me.
For adult-sized pain, Bayer, the wonder drug that works wonders.
I stained this blue. Now it's blah.
You should have used Thompson's Stain. Thompson's patented formula combines an oil-based stain for deep color penetration with a durable acrylic and the waterproofing power of Thompson's Water Seal, so the color lasts and lasts. Thompson's Water Seal Stain.
If you heard about a breakfast that helps keep you going all morning, you'd think it was big news, right? Well, it was for me. It's breakfast with Great Nuts cereal. I heard try it for a week and see how good you feel all morning. I feel great. I mean, it's got what it takes to help keep you going. It's packed with complex carbohydrates. It's a natural energy source, but it also tastes so good. It's hearty. Just try it for a week yourself.
Breakfast with Great Nuts helps keep you going strong all morning long.
They were an American rock and roll legend.
You should write a song about surfing.
But their success story had a flip side.
Did you sleep with Elliot?
The unauthorized biography.
You're out of the band, buckwheat.
The story of the Beach Boys, Summer Dream, Sunday.
What have we left out? Perhaps the greatest moments of all have come when we've taken Nightline on the road.
This is a special edition of Nightline. This week in the Holy Land.
It's Tuesday morning here in Jerusalem.
It is Friday morning here in Beijing. China is in the grip of what its citizens are calling the White Terror.
Good evening. I'm Ted Koppel in Manila, and this is Nightline. Almost miraculously, the departure of Ferdinand Marcos from the Philippines was accomplished nearly without bloodshed. For the next few nights, my colleagues and I will range back and forth across Southeast Asia, trying to put some perspective on what might otherwise be little more than a Vietnamese victory celebration. South Africa is changing. For the next 5 nights, we'll show you many different sides of this rich, fascinating, and terribly controversial country.
I'm 53 years of age. You would, I suppose, say that I'm reasonably responsible. In my own country, I do not vote. According to this government, I am not a South African.
There are millions of blacks who vote. He does not want to vote in one of the national states of which he is probably a citizen. He did not want to accept citizen of a certain country, but we have decided, no, I have not interrupted.
No, but I think...
Bishop, just
you are fair.
Please listen.
You are fair and a Christian. You will allow me also to say my bit.
Prior to that moment in 1985, those two men had never spoken publicly to one another before. And you were looking at a live shot, 6:30 in the morning here in South Africa. By the time we returned to South Africa earlier this year, we were able to assemble an interracial panel appearing before an interracial audience, although there were still some moments of tension.
I fear nobody, including you. So it's not a matter of fear or that. It's a matter of...
Well, if you want to speak...
I've stood up before in other meetings, and sir, I commend you because you're the only person with the strength of character and enough guts and enough balls to stand up and say what you really think and to stand by what you really think.
Let's see if we can just complete Mr. Van der Merwe's exit, though, because he's been trying very hard to leave.
Don't leave, Mr. Van der Merwe. Don't leave. Just don't talk to the sons of bitches, but don't leave. Sit there.
All right. Yes, the thought did cross my mind that he might pull something other than a sheaf of papers out of that briefcase, but again, the magic of live television is that there's not much you can do except move on with the program.
I understand. Then get back to the microphone, otherwise no one will hear you respond, okay?
It is almost 7:30 in the morning here in Jerusalem, and we are gathered with a mixed audience of Jews and Palestinians. The town meeting in Israel was a high watermark for Nightline. It came within an inch of never happening.
I approached the executive
producer at that time, Rick Kaplan, and I said, well, in the past 24 hours, I've put together 4 panels of Palestinians, and they've all collapsed, and I don't know what I'm going to do now. And he said, well, what's it going to take to make this happen? I said, a wall. He said, well, what kind of wall? I said, a little wall. He said, okay, well, no problem, we'll give you a wall.
So here it is. I will try and spend as much time on one side as on the other. Let me, in fact, as I move across our fence right now.
D.C. divided city. A national town meeting.
And then, in our own backyard, here in Washington, at a town meeting on racism, Patricia Godley, who wasn't scheduled to speak, wasn't even invited to be in the audience, as best I can recall, got up and blew everyone away.
You got a lot of addicts out there that are suffering. I'm recovering today. But you have a lot of them out there, man, that are suffering still. That don't see no hope. That don't see no way out. Do you know that the jail is a relief? They glad when you lock them up. They get 3 meals, a hot and a cat, and a clothes to wear, get taken care of. They get more than they get out the street. They need some help with learning that their life is worth something more than a piece of rock in a pipe.
In the final analysis, it's always the unexpected that gives any news program its most dramatic moments. And as often as not, those moments catch us at the end of a long day when we'd been planning to do something altogether different. This is going to be a broadcast on which we will all be flying very much by the seat of our pants, because events are quite literally changing minute by minute. The wounded are scattered about in different hospitals in Karachi tonight. Disaster on the Potomac. We'll have a live report from the scene of today's jetliner crash in the heart of Washington. Remember Lenny Skutnik, who dove into the Potomac River one freezing winter afternoon? What made you jump into that river? It's not only courage, there has to be a certain kind of magnificent insanity about it all.
Well, just sitting there watching all the unsuccessful attempts to try to get to those people, it just, when I saw that girl let go, something just told me, go in after her.
Over the years, what saved us again and again has been our affiliates, some local reporter or cameraman who was there when disaster struck.
These huge iron beams that support it fell down on the hundreds of people below. You can see people trapped underneath. There are still people at this hour even trapped underneath. And people.
A series of devastating tornadoes hits the south and parts of the Midwest. We'll go live to the scene.
I just want you to know this is the most frightened I have ever been in my life. Thank you, God, for sparing me.
It sounded as though, you know, for a moment you almost couldn't control yourself.
I think I realized how close to death that I really was.
An earthquake of major proportions hits California from San Jose north to the Bay Area of San Francisco.
It's been a frightening scene here. As you can see just below me is where this crack in the Bay Bridge occurred, a 50-foot
at the corner of Jefferson and Divisadero. You can see the fire down past me. What has happened is that the natural gas lines have ruptured, and that is what has caused that fire. The water lines have ruptured. There is no water coming out of the fire hydrant.
It should be readily apparent to our affiliates down the line not only that we have gone over a little bit beyond our allotted time, but also why. The affiliates are pretty understanding for the most part, but then we don't abuse it. I don't think I've done it more than a couple of times over the last 10 years anyway. Long-suffering affiliates, I'd like to warn our affiliates we're going to go just a couple of minutes over tonight. We're going to go just a little bit long tonight. We're coming to that point when we would normally be going off the air. In order to accommodate that report, we will be going over just a few minutes tonight. I promise to exercise more control in the future. And if you want to miss out on this, you dump out. Otherwise, hang in. Take nothing else away with you from this program tonight, please do consider this. What we've been trying to do for 10 years now is to harness the exploding technology of telecommunications to bring you conflicting ideas from all over the world as interestingly and as creatively as we can. Sometimes, I must admit, we bore even ourselves. But every once in a while, there's a translucent moment when it all comes together and works. I'm Ted Koppel in Washington. For all the men and women who've been my co-workers here at Nightline over the past 10 years, thank you and good night.
The Best of Nightline with Ted Koppel has been brought to you by Hyundai.
Announcing a world-class value in four-door sedans at a special price, the Hyundai Excel.
More horsepower. Power. Multi-point.
Fuel injection.
More power.
Automatic.
Automatic force.
Overdrive.
Sure.
Stereo, too.
Stereo. Cassette.
Stereo.
Really?
Oh.
Wiper.
Intermittent. Wiper. Here's your father. More room.
More legroom.
Pocket 5-passenger living room.
Tinted glass.
Dual remote mirrors.
Nice wheels.
The Excel four-door sedan from Hyundai, now specially priced at just $71.99. For more information on this world-class value, call 1-800-826-CARS.
How's Ed Koch doing after 2 months on Ultra Slim Fast?
I have lost 23 pounds. I'm going to tell you, it's unbelievable. And I feel good. And it wasn't hard to do. I have a delicious shake for breakfast, another for lunch, and then a sensible, well-balanced dinner. You want to lose weight? Come and join me. If you think this is handsome, wait till you see me in a couple of months when I've lost even more.
Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
Accidents happen. We can't stop them all, but we can have fewer, less serious ones, which would help lower car insurance costs. To do that, Allstate has combated drunk drivers and championed seatbelts, airbags, and anti-lock brakes. Allstate's committed to building a car insurance system everyone can live with.
Shout Power Stick lets you stick it to tough stains today.
Throw my head back and
Shout them out next wash day.
kick my feet out and
Shout Power Stick keeps stains from setting in till you're ready to wash them out. In tests against spray and wash stick, women chose Shout 2-to-1.
you know it makes me wanna shout. Come on now, shout.
Want tough stains out? Choose new Power Stick Shout.
Knowing how to read and write can really make you feel wanted. Help someone learn to read. Volunteer as a tutor in your community.
Operation Renovation, tomorrow, environmentally sound landscaping.
Also how you can wallpaper like a pro, plus Sylvester Stallone on Good Morning America tomorrow.
Tonight on Nightline, Akio Morita. He's the chairman of Sony, one of the world's most successful corporations. And he's highly critical of the way Americans do business. Ted Koppel talks with him tonight.
If you wish to receive a transcript of tonight's broadcast, please send $4 to The Best of Nightline with Ted Koppel, Journal Graphics, 267 Broadway, New York, New York, 10007. To order a video cassette version of the preceding Best of Nightline, use your Visa or MasterCard and call 1-800-ABC-7500. The cost is $29.95. plus $3.95 shipping and handling.
I'd like to warn our affiliates, we're going off on time tonight.
This has been a special presentation of ABC News, where more Americans get their news than from any other source.